Hi guys, Katie Willeen with Valorous Floral Design. Today we're going to answer the question, do I need a wedding coordinator or planner? What are the difference between the two? How much do they cost? So those are a few of the things we're going to touch base on today. So the first thing we're going to touch on is the coordinator versus planner. So the difference is a coordinator is somebody you catch up to speed when they come into the picture. Give them all the details, people that you've already hired. They kind of organize it all, create a day of timeline and when vendors are arriving, help facilitate where people are going, and keep the photographer and DJ on track. They tell family where to go, vendors where to go, all of that. And they're there to prevent the bride from having, or any family members having to do any of that. A planner, on the other hand, is there from day one. You hire them immediately from getting engaged, and they can help you find your venue if you don't already have one. They can help you structure a budget if you have kind of a rough number in your head, or they can just call you out and be like, that is unrealistic for what you want. So they'll help you from day one, setting that budget, getting all of your vendors. Depending on your package that you get with them, they will go to all your meetings, negotiate pricing with those vendors to meet within your budget, all of that. So a day of coordinator probably gives you about 24 hours of their time, whereas a wedding planner, you're getting 80 to almost 250 hours of their time poured into your wedding. So that's time you don't have to spend worrying and debating, because they ask questions and they keep you on track. So some of the key reasons I would encourage somebody to get a coordinator or a planner, whichever one you want, is your sanity. Your sanity is priceless. You don't want to be bouncing off walls and ruining relationships because you're overstressed. You don't want to be breaking out because you're overstressed. You don't want to be answering everybody's questions and be setting up practically when you're supposed to be getting ready on the day of. The relief that you get is invaluable. Like, if you can afford a day of coordinator, get one. If you can get a whole month, do it. If you can afford a full-on planner, do it. So the other thing that they do on the day of is they are your strength. When there's a problem, they're the ones that stand firm, and that is the key. If you can read reviews about a coordinator or a planner, make sure that they haven't faltered under pressure. That is one of the key things. There are so many pressures when it comes to keeping a wedding on track, and you want to make sure that they're not going to crumble. But when you do get that perfect coordinator, everything goes flawlessly. Aunt Sue's not able to run anybody over, telling vendors where to go, where they're not supposed to be. There's just so much that comes with their presence, because if they're a strong person, like, people can't run over them. And so you have that benefit, and people just fall into place if you have a good coordinator. Having somebody that's that buffer between you, the bride, and the questions is vitally important on the day of your wedding. One of the priceless things that a coordinator or planner can provide you is industry insight and vendor network. They have their list of vendors that they work with really well. You also get the benefit of their creativity. These wedding planners are brilliant. They are so creative. They're talented in design of all kinds. And if you trust their creativity, your event will be flawless. And of course, the main benefit that we all want from our coordinator and planner, whichever one you hire, is the day of timeline. Coordinators and planners are perfectionists. That's kind of one of the requirements to be one. So your timeline is to the minute of when the officiant and groom are walking out, when makeup's being done, all of that stuff, when the vendors are arriving. And if you have a really good coordinator, they have that timeline to each and every vendor, bridal party member, anybody who's a key element of the wedding day gets that timeline. And you want to make sure that everybody's there on time. You want to make sure it all goes smoothly. So that's something that they help you create, whether you get a planner or a coordinator. So some things to consider when meeting with your coordinator slash planner is do they tend to have a particular style on their portfolios? So if you scroll down their Instagram and you see pretty much the same wedding, you kind of need to want that wedding, because if all the weddings look exactly the same, they're probably suggesting that style to their brides. So you kind of want to make sure when you meet with your coordinator that they're listening to you. So you want to ask, did I feel heard at that consultation? Did it sound from what the wedding planner was telling me if our budget was workable? Did it sound like they understood my vision? And the last thing you want to consider is, did you vibe? Did you mesh well together? Are you going to get along during this process? Then the last thing I want to touch on is the price of a coordinator or planner. Different companies charge differently. Some have flat rates, some have hourly rates, some you pay for percentage-wise. So depending on the business that you go to, they might charge differently, between $800 and $1,200 for a day of. I wouldn't expect to pay less than $100 an hour if you're paying hourly. Sometimes if you buy a package, but then you start calling and asking additional questions or for additional services, then they charge hourly. So you have to be aware of that. When a business charges percent-wise, that could be about 15 to 25% of your overall budget. So this is usually bigger coordinators, big, huge weddings. You have, $100,000 budget, which is crazy to me. You have like 15%, they charge you 15% of that entire budget. Those are some prices to have in your mind. Obviously, check with the people that you like the work of and check to see how they price their wedding packages. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more wedding planning and flower videos. Share this video with your friends if they're planning a wedding, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!